Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoded, the place where we sometimes find buried treasures and sometimes find, well, you'll see today we're diving into Zoomcar Holdings Inc. Its latest filing, and let's just say it is an amendment, which often means they're cleaning something up or adding details. And that usually means we get to dig into some interesting bits. So what is the big news here with Zoomcar Holdings? Well, they're filing an amendment to a previous report, specifically to update details about their bridge financing private placement. Think of it like adding a postscript to a letter, but with more legal jargon and financial implications. They're adding information about an over-allotment option and a new offering termination date. They're also releasing an updated investor presentation that replaces the old one. It is like saying, here is the latest version, pay attention to these changes. Basically, this isn't a brand new story, but an update to a previous one. The main purpose of this filing is to clarify and add information that is important for investors and anyone following the company's financial moves. It is all about transparency and making sure everyone has the most current details. Now let's get into the juicy part, what they're actually disclosing. On the 23rd of January, Zoomcar started an offer to exchange eligible outstanding warrants for shares of the company's common stock. Warrants are like options giving holders the right to buy stock at a certain price, instead of just letting these warrants expire or be exercised normally. They are offering to swap them for actual shares of the company, and the exchange ratios are pretty wild. For every one common warrant, they're offering a massive 20,000 shares of common stock. Other types of warrants have different exchange rates, but the scale of this is significant. This is a move to restructure their outstanding obligations, potentially simplifying their capital structure. On the same day, the 23rd of January, they also kicked off a bridge financing private placement. This is essentially a way for the company to raise money quickly from sophisticated investors, so-called accredited investors. They are aiming to raise up to $5 million, with a minimum of $2 million needed to go ahead with the deal. If they don't hit that minimum, everyone's money goes back. Here is where the amendment comes in. They've added an over-allotment option. This gives the placement agent Think Equity LLC the right to sell up to another $5 million worth of these units, if they think the demand is there. This is a common tactic to potentially raise even more money if the initial offering is successful. It's like being offered seconds at a buffet. So what are investors actually buying in this bridge financing? They're getting a unit that includes a share of series, a convertible preferred stock, and a warrant to buy common stock. The preferred stock has a special place in line if the company liquidates, and it can be converted into common stock. The warrants, as we said, give the right to buy more common stock. The purchase price is $1,000 per unit. It is important to note that these securities haven't been registered with the securities regulators. This means they're only being offered to those accredited investors under specific exemptions, and they can't be resolved freely in the public market for a while. This is typical for private placements. Now let's look at the exhibits, because that is where the real flavor is often found. They filed an investor presentation dated the 12th of February 2026. This is probably the most up-to-date look at how they are presenting their company and this financing to potential investors. While the actual numbers within these presentations aren't filed as part of the core report, they heavily influence how investors perceive the company. Think of them as the polished marketing materials that accompany the raw financial data. We can infer from this filing that the investor presentation has been updated to reflect the new terms of the bridge financing, including the over-allotment option and the updated offering termination date. So, what is the story here for Zoomcar Holdings? They are clearly in a phase of trying to manage their capital structure and raise funds. The warrant exchange is a way to deal with existing obligations, and the bridge financing is a move to inject new capital. The over-allotment option shows confidence, or at least a hopeful projection from the placement agent that there will be enough investor interest to sell more. The company is small, and these moves are critical for its survival and growth. The significant number of shares offered in exchange for warrants suggests they are trying to consolidate their debt or equity, like instruments, into a simpler common stock structure, potentially to make the company more attractive for future investment or if they are facing challenges with callable warrants. Looking at the overall direction of the company, this amendment and the updated investor presentation signal active management of their financial health. They are taking steps to refine their capital structure and secure funding. The risks are always present with companies in this stage, especially with private placements and warrant exchanges, including whether they can achieve their financing goals, and if the underlying business can generate sufficient returns to justify the dilution from issuing more shares. The potential for dilution is a key risk for existing shareholders. However, these maneuvers are standard for companies looking to navigate challenging financial landscapes and prepare for future growth. They are trying to stay afloat and position themselves for better days. Alright, that is our breakdown of Zoomcar Holdings Inc. latest filing, what is your take on these financing moves and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.